Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming here today. My name is Abraham Vasquez, and I am here to tell you guys what society needs today. And what I think society needs in this day and age is more effective and better truancy laws. You guys are wondering, what may truancy be? Truancy is simple. It's that students that refuse to go to school and the parents don't do anything about it. For an example of truancy, I'm a high school student, and me and millions other around the U.S., a lot of us feel like we don't want to go to school today or go to a certain class that day, and we go to the class because it's the right thing to do. But yeah, there's a good handful of students who says, I'm just going to ditch the whole day, no matter what, and they're breaking the truancy laws. They're not going to school like they're supposed to, and it can have dire consequences. The problem with truancy now is that students are getting a lack of education that they need for their future, because education is an important tool that they need for the future and for the rest of their lives. Because say you want a certain job, you need a certain level of education to get that job. Because if you want to be a science teacher, you cannot ditch science class because you need to learn those skills. And another problem with truancy is that attendance also affects funding. And I found this quote from a magazine article by a man named Zalnick. It says that Texas truancy, which is the third largest state in the U.S., truancy affects more than academics because state funding is determined by the attendance record of the state. And throughout the years, people had been doing certain things to stop truancy. Is that, according to a man named Venice, is that schools, they've been sending letters to the parents if their students miss a certain amount of days saying, can you tell me why your student's not showing up to school, and can we, arrange a meeting for us to discuss the topic? And some states go a little too far with truancy. Is that, according to Venice again, that some states are now bringing the parents to court, which is showing the gravity of the situation, because the parents are not taking responsibility of getting their kids to school, because it's the parents' job to make sure the student gets what they need for their future so they can be successful. And a parent not letting them kids go to school is part of the problem. And I have some solutions to fix that problem. Instead of going to the court and going to jail, because sometimes parents forget to do things. Say if you're sick and then you go to the next day and your parents forget to call in saying you were sick yesterday, that counts as truancy because it goes as an excused absence. And other things that is part of the problem is that some students don't have a means of transportation to and from school, which can affect truancy also, or access to school, which is part of the problem. And some solutions I have to it is to, provide a bus route to those areas that students are not able to get a way to and from school. Say if you live out in the county, because that's a long way to go. But if you can get to school, you can get to school. And maybe some online schooling would be also a good solution, because if you have access to the internet, you have access to every single resource you need for class. Because instead of the police rolling up to your door and saying, you're going to jail, you've been missing too many days, they can give you an option to do it. And if a parent's been missing so many days, instead of going to court also, the parents can also pay a fine, because what's worse, you paying a fine or you going to jail being away from your kids for too long, just because of you're not able to fix their problem? Let's see, how many minutes am I
4.
Alright. And other things that can fix truancy, let me think. Another things to fix truancy is that, be a little more forceful on the rules, but most states, they give you until 3 days until they start giving you letters. I think that a way to fix that problem is, extend the days a little bit to have the students say if they miss 1 week of school, then they'll start being a little suspicious. And not just go straight to the cops saying, arrest these people. They've been abusing the school education system, which I think is a little overboard. And other ways to fix is, provide opportunities for the students to make up work if they miss too many days, instead of, going straight to the police or whatever. Provide the school, some schools provide them weekend tutoring so they can be able to make up those hours that they've been missing. because whatever can help a student, not get into truancy and still get all the work done is going to be really successful for both the parents, the students, the school system as a whole. And let me recap what I did on my speech today. I first, told you my name, which is Abraham Vasquez, and I told you what the speech was about, and the speech was about what does society need. And I told you what society needs for me personally is better ways to deal with truancy laws. And I told you guys what the background on truancy was, which was students refusing to go to school with no reason at all. And I told you the problems with truancy is that it can affect students' education and it can affect funding for schools, because once again, if you want to do something fun at school and school doesn't have funding, who do you blame? You can blame only yourself. And I told you some ways to fix the problem is by saying fines instead of going straight to jail time and getting, access to school on both transportation and online, and giving you ways to make up your truancy laws in case you miss it, like after school tutoring or whatever, or on weekends. And that concludes my speech. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this just as informative as I have.